What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Raider coming back to you with another video. I'm going to cover some casting news as it relates to Disney Plus Star Wars shows. But before I begin, I got a couple of channel housekeeping notes. First, congratulations to John Hammond. He was the winner of the case shells giveaway that I just did. I'm going to be doing another giveaway probably tomorrow or the next day. So keep an eye out there. It's going to be a graded Black Series item. That's going to be a channel giveaway, so be on the lookout. But congratulations, John. I've already mailed off those case shells to you along with a couple of other surprises that I hope that you'll enjoy. The second channel note is that I want to say thank you to Slappy Fez. He is the latest Patreon supporter that has joined my Patreon ranks, so thank you so much for joining my Patreon crew. And to all my Patreon supporters, thanks so much for everything you do to make this channel bigger, better, stronger, and you allow me to make more and better videos. So let's dig in. There's a number of different casting news and rumors as it relates to the upcoming Disney Plus content for Star Wars. And as it relates to that, I want to take a look at what the comic book market is doing for Star Wars books. Not only key issues, but also speculative books. That nasty word that we don't like to talk about, spec. And it seems like the speculative market has slowed down quite a bit. And I don't know if it's just fatigue, because it seems like every week everyone's got the big, latest, hottest pick for the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Disney Plus shows that are coming out. And I think because there's just so much out there that people are starting to get a little bit worn out with all these speculative kind of videos. So I'm looking at key issues for the most part that I think makes sense to hold on to forever if you're a big Star Wars comic book collector, or if you just want to get a few kind of key issues. We're going to be talking about some sales prices for those. But at the same time, I think it's fun to kind of talk about books that nobody else is talking about. And I found a few that I think are interesting that I wanted to bring up that may be worth taking a look at, that may, go up in value as some of these shows come up and are released next year. The Obi-Wan series. We've got the Ahsoka series. Obviously, the Mandalorian Season 3. We got the Book of Boba Fett coming in like 3 weeks. So there's just a number of good ideas that I've, for the most part, I haven't talked about as it relates to the speculative books. The key issues I've talked about numerous times, but I wanted to kind of give you an update on what prices are doing out there since these announcements have hit. And so the first announcement, this came out on November 19th, and I kind of alluded to it recently, but Sabine Wren from the Star Wars Rebels crew has been cast. And it's going to be Natasha Liu Bordizzo. She looks just like her. I mean, that's a great, in terms of like the appearance, she looks just like Sabine Wren. So I think that's a great pick for the Ahsoka TV series. Apparently, Sabine Wren is going to be the kind of the second main character throughout the series, along with Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka. So Sabine Wren is about to hit big with regard to live action Star Wars content. So if you're interested at all in Sabine Wren, which she's a really cool character from the cartoons, there's already a number of different awesome action figures that are out there. I'm sure we're going to be seeing a vintage collection released for her, I hope, which will be amazing. But the comic books are where it's at right now. And I think that there's still an opportunity to get in now before the prices really jump. So I wanted to show you what the key issues for the Rebels team has done since this announcement, and then also compare it to like what Ahsoka's key issue sells for right now. It's a pretty stark difference in terms of price. And I'm not saying that the Star Wars Rebels team, their comic books are going to be or should be as valuable as Ahsoka's first appearance, Clone Wars #1. But I'm saying that the price disparity is so large right now that I still think there's quite a bit of room to grow. And so if you look at the key issues for Sabine Wren and for the Rebels team, I'm going to keycollectorcomics.com. There's a couple of magazines, the Insider Magazine and Rebels Magazine in the UK. Those are very difficult to find in high grade, so I'm excluding those. You can see that the raw copies for those sell for $65 and $120 respectively. That's not even graded. So good luck finding those in a very, very high grade. They just don't come up very often. And when they do, I bet you could probably pay quite a bit of money for them. But obviously, ones we've talked about in the past are Kanan #1. This is kind of the most obvious choice. This is the first cameo appearance of the Rebels team, Sabine Wren. Kanan Jarrus, it's his first full appearance. But Eris Syndulla, Ezra Bridger, Sabine, the rest of the Rebels team, Chopper, And so that's a key issue. And since the announcement for Sabine Wren being cast, which was November 19th when this data came out, or that announcement came out, the price hasn't really jumped all that much. So Kanan, the Last Padawan #1, still is relatively affordable. And I think it's because of something we've talked about in the past, that this is really just the cameo appearance. They only appear on one page. Sabine Wren only appears on one page on this book. But it's still, raw copies have really jumped. If you look at like, any of the comic book websites that track the top 10 for the week in terms of what they're doing, this book has really, it's been consistently in the top 10 for the last couple of weeks. But the actual for 9.8 graded copies, it really hasn't gone up that much. It's basically been kind of $285 to $325 has been the sales price. This one just sold at auction on November 30th for $285. That's almost exactly what I think I paid $273. I'm going on memory. It might have been less than that, but anyway, it hasn't jumped hardly at all. So if that's one you want, and it's a great cover, but it doesn't have the team on the cover, the Rebels team on the cover. It just has Kanan Jarrus when he was younger, Caleb Dune, as well as his master, Jedi Master. So the one that has really jumped, though, is Kanan #1, the 1 in 25 Plunket variant. This has been consistently selling in the kind of $750 to $800 range, even on Comic Link or away from eBay. But this one just sold for $1,299. So that's a big jump. We're talking like a 40 to 50% jump in price for the Plunket 1 in 25 variant. And I actually like this cover a lot. It's a nice cover. It's still, again, it does not have the Rebels team, though, on the cover. It's just a more rare 1 in 25 variant for Kanan #1. So those are a couple of data points there. To me, I would stay away from the Plunket variant at that price. That's too high to me. But this one at $285, that's a steal of a deal in my opinion. I would still pay that all day long for Kanan #1. But Kanan #6, going back to the Key Collector, Kanan #6 is listed on keycollectorcomics.com as the first full appearance of the Rebels team, and they appear on the cover. So that's a big issue, or a big one to get. And the price has gone up. It has gone up. I picked up mine on Comic Link a couple months ago, maybe 2.5, maybe even 3 months ago now, before the Sabine Wren announcement even came up, for around $600. It's now consistently selling for anywhere from $680 all the way to $850. I kind of picked a mid-range price as to where it's been selling lately, but $800 is kind of a mid-range as to where a 9.8 of Kanan, the Last Padawan #6 is selling. There are no retail incentive covers to my knowledge, so this is really the only one, and it's got the whole team on there, as you can see, Sabine Wren and the whole Rebels team. This is absolutely one you want to get, because in my opinion, this book is going to double in price, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, because there are a lot of 9.8s out there for this book, but if you're going to invest in one, this is probably the one to get. If you're interested in Sabine Wren and you haven't gotten anything yet, if you can pick one up at an auction in the 600s, I still think that's a good price to get it at. So that's a great one to get. Now, there's one that people aren't talking about that I think is a great buy right now, and that's this one, Kanan, the Last Padawan #5. I mentioned it briefly in a video maybe a month ago. This is a great one to buy. This is a screaming buy. I'm pounding the table on this one. I haven't gotten it yet, so this is one I definitely want to get. You can get in the raw as high as $12. That's the high price for a raw copy of Kanan, the Last Padawan #5. It's only $12 right now as a high price. The mid-range is $3. So close to market value, you can get an ungraded copy for this book. It's the second cameo appearance of Sabine Wren, the second cameo of Ezra Bridger, and the second cameo of Hera Syndulla. So, and it's a great cover. It's got Kanan Jarrus when he was still Caleb Dune on the cover there, kind of in the swamps. And in a 9.8, this one just sold for $105. That's a great deal. I've seen it sell for as cheap as $80 in an auction. So this is one that I'm targeting. I definitely want to get that one, because for the second cameo appearance of Sabine Wren, it still has Kanan on the cover. That to me is a very good budget-friendly deal. That one that I would definitely pick up if you see a good copy, either raw or ungraded or lower than 9. I mean, I bet you can get a 9.6 grade for this book for under $70. In an auction or less. So that's one I would definitely look at. Now that's a snapshot of the prices for Sabine Wren and for the Rebels team. $300 for Kanan #1, That one again is too expensive, but that's the 1 in 25. But you know, 800 to 1300 for the Plunkett variant. Kanan number 6, which I think is a great buy right now, anywhere from 650 to 850 for Kanan number 6. And you got this one for $100. Versus the first appearance of Ahsoka in Clone Wars number 1. This one was listed at $3,000. It just sold yesterday at best offer accepted. I did look up the best offer accepted. It was $2,750, which is right in line with where the Clone Wars number 1 has been selling consistently at auction. $2,700 gets you Clone Wars number 1 right now. During the height of the comic book market, that got up into the into the 3,000, 3,500 range, if not higher. So that's for the direct edition. For a newsstand edition, you're probably talking $5,000 plus. So my point is that Sabine Wren is rumored or expected to have a very, very major role in season 1 of Ahsoka, and it just makes a lot of sense that to pick, even with the announcement of her being cast, and it really hasn't moved the needle that much on her first cameo and her first full appearance comics. To me, it makes a lot of sense to go ahead and still grab her comics, because the price disparity between Ahsoka and Sabine Wren is still pretty dramatic. And you know, I don't see Clone Wars number 1 ever coming back down, whether Ahsoka is successful or not. You know, it's just a book that everyone always wants, because the Clone Wars related books are always going to be popular. So to take advantage of Ahsoka related content, if you don't have the deep pockets for Clone Wars number 1, I still think Kanan 1, Kanan 6, or even Kanan number 5 are good choices. All right, now the other big news that this just came out 3 days ago. This is Ivana Sekno. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Sekno. She is joining the Ahsoka series in an unnamed role. So they're not sure whether who it's going to be, but this person that wrote the article says it's going to be a newly created character. Reps for Lucasfilm had no comment on this. That being said, she looks an awfully lot like a lot of the pictures that you see for Admiral Arlani. And another article did come out on denofgeek.com that says, is she going to be playing a Chiss character? And that article shows Admiral Arlani's photo in the article. So whether it's truly going to be a new character that they're creating, which is what this article says on Deadline, or this article on Den of Geek is saying, hey, it's probably going to be Admiral Arlani. But if you look at the wiki, this is the Wikipedia entry for Admiral Arlani, who is a major character within all of the Admiral Thrawn related books by Timothy Zahn. She has got a massive role. I mean, a huge role. And because Admiral Thrawn is kind of rumored to be back in the chaos, back in the kind of the Outer Rim, as we kind of pick up the scene with, after his scenes in the Rebel TV series, it just seems like a no-brainer they're going to bring her into to live action content. And if you look at the actress, I mean, wow, that's like a spitting image of Admiral Arlani. And I'm a firm believer that Admiral Arlani is going to make an appearance in the Ahsoka TV series. There's nothing to back that up. And I was saying this, in all fairness, I was saying this before this article even came out in other videos, so you can go back and look on my channel. But this article is basically saying, this came out 3 days ago, and he's making the very sly rumor or innuendo that she's going to be playing Admiral Arlani. Her first appearance comic is in Star Wars Thrawn #6. That's again from the Origin series that came out a few years back. This is the first appearance of Admiral Arlani, and this is one that I would target because it's really creeped up in price a lot. I picked up my copy on Comic Link about a month ago in a CGC 9.8 and I'll put a photo, if I remember, I'll put a photo of it down here. It's on my Instagram. I picked it up for $112 in an auction, which is extremely cheap given what it's done. And the other thing I want to point out is Star Wars Thrawn #6. It is very difficult to find. There's only 34 of those in the census on CGC. So I've got one of 34 of these books, and they come up very, very infrequently. There's also a variant edition that's even harder to find. There's only 13 of those in a 9.8. So this is the census from CGC. So I've got one of 34 of the regular. There is an alternate cover that is very, very pricey. There's only 13 of those out there. again, I would really look hard at picking up this book, Star Wars Thrawn #6, if you can find it for a good deal. I can't believe I got it for $112, but I expect more to come up, for auction over the next few months, given the rumors that are out there now that she's coming to the series. So it's not listed in the Key Collector book, but it is on Wikipedia. Wikipedia does list this book as Admiral Arlani's first appearance. She's just not a big enough character yet that she even shows up in the database for keycollectorcomics.com, but I'm telling you that she's going to have a big role whenever Admiral Thrawn makes his appearance. Now, we know that Grand Admiral Thrawn's first comic book appearance is Heir to the Empire #1. It's a very pricey book. I just picked that up and showed that last week. But a better option is the Origin book, which I also have, and I really recommend picking it up. It still can be found for a good deal. This one just sold on November 29th. So what's that, 3 days ago, for $180 plus $15 shipping. That's even less than what I paid for mine, or about the same after shipping. So I would really look hard at that one. If you can find that one at auction. There's a lot of people listing them for stupid prices on eBay, but be patient. Find it for anywhere from 180 to 210 in that range is the fair market value for that book, and I think that book will continue to go up in value. And it's not particularly rare. There's a lot of those in a 9.8. The more difficult one to find is this one. This is the action figure variant for Star Wars Thrawn #1. This one sold for $400. Do not pay $400. That's a ridiculous price. You should be able to pick this one up for about the same price as the regular cover, but there are less 9.8s of this one out there because of the black border. It's just a little bit tougher to get in a 9.8 grade. So 180 to 250, I think, is the fair market value for that one. Maybe go a little bit higher. Maybe go to 275 for this one. Again, this is another one I don't have yet, but I'd like to pick up. But don't pay $400. Don't pay that. That's way overpaying in my opinion. But that's what this one sold for. Now, if you're going to get one and you're going to pay big money, this is the one to get. And this is one I almost bid on. This one just sold on November 20th. It was listed at $350. This is the 1:10 ratio variant for Thrawn #1. This is the animation art cover from the Rebels series. Another very difficult one to find in a 9.8. Not many of them out there. And it's also the more limited variant because it's a retail incentive variant, 1:10 ratio. If you're going to pay big money, pay that one. Pay the $350 to $400 for that one, but not for the action figure variant. That's a crazy price. But this is a good deal. I think $350 was a very fair price for a 1:10 for Thrawn #1. There is also a 1:25 ratio variant for Thrawn #1, but it goes for insane money. I mean, like $3,000. So that's not what I would pay. If you're going to get an incentive variant, get the 1:10, which is that one. Now, again, going back to Star Wars Thrawn #6, which again is the first appearance of Admiral Arlani. On eBay, it sold as high as $280. That's about where it's been listed. This one sold best offer accepted, and I did not look that one up, and I should have. I apologize, but that one's $250 to $280 is about where it's selling on eBay. But I think you can get it cheaper if you're patient in an auction. So be on the lookout for that one. Okay, now that kind of covers Ahsoka for the most part. It covers Sabine Wren. It covers Clone Wars #1 with Ahsoka's first appearance. It covers Grand Admiral Thrawn and Admiral Arlani. What are some other ideas as it relates to the Obi-Wan series that's coming out? We already covered Book of Boba Fett last week and some of my picks for what to look out for Book of Boba Fett. But what about Obi-Wan? We talked about a few, but I wanted to give you guys a few other off-the-wall ideas. We talked about, Tales from Vader's Castle #1, which is the origin of Darth Vader's castle. That's one to look for. It's a very tough one to find in a 9.8 because of the black border. Another one that I found is Star Wars Darth Vader #5, which is the origin of Darth Vader's red lightsaber. And this book covers the arc leading up to the moment Vader achieves creating the weapon in this issue. So this is kind of a cool one. I don't know. It is an awesome cover. I'm going to show you one in a second. Here it is. This is one that's actually for sale right now. Look at this awesome cover. It's got a shattered eyepiece. It shows Anakin Skywalker and his kind of flesh-burned face underneath there. Just an awesome cover. Char Soul story, Giuseppe Camuncoli cover. And so he's got a number of really epic covers, but this cover is all black. And I haven't looked up. Let's go ahead and do that now. I mean, I haven't done it, but let's look up the census for this one. I'd be really surprised if the census for this one is not low. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. Let's find out. Darth Vader 5 from 2017. Let's see. Yeah, there's only 19 of these. There's only 19 of these in the census for where is it? Sorry. For this book right here, there's only 19 of these in the census at a 9.8. And this one is for sale right now for $125. It's one I've thought about buying, and we'll see if it sells. But it's only the origin of his red lightsaber, but to me that's kind of a cool book, a cool kind of mini key to pick up. So just another idea as we get closer to the Obi-Wan series. But there's another couple of other books that I thought were worth talking about. This one, Star Wars: Age of the Republic, Obi-Wan Kenobi #1. That's the origin of Anakin Skywalker as he is being trained by Obi-Wan Kenobi. I could see this being a flashback in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series because, you know, Hayden Christensen's already been signed up to come back. So it makes a lot of sense, especially how young he looks still. I mean, Hayden Christensen hasn't aged at all. Good Lord. But you can still pick up that book for relatively inexpensive. This one was a really cool Turkish edition of that book. That was signed by the author, or by the cover artist, excuse me. That one sold, it was a 9.8, signed by the cover artist, that sold for $80. I mean, that's an awesome deal, And this is the Turkish edition too, so it's a very limited print, I would imagine. Probably not many of those in the census. So be on the lookout for books like that. But yeah, Star Wars: Age of the Republic, Obi-Wan Kenobi #1, either the regular US edition, or in this case, the Turkish edition, which is probably even lower printed number. And it was signed by the artist, and it was $80. That's an awesome deal. Here's another one, Obi-Wan and Anakin #1. Just another kind of idea, as it, you know, I could just see flashback scenes coming for that Obi-Wan series now that they got Hayden Christensen on board, and with the magic of special effects and the anti-aging they got, it just seems like these kind of books are a good idea. This is another one that's for sale for $155 in a 9.8 grade. So couple of ideas. Now, one other idea I wanted to point out that I forgot to include for the Book of Boba Fett. I think that Black Chrysanthemum makes a lot of sense to show up either in the Book of Boba Fett or in Season 3 of The Mandalorian. He's a Wookiee bounty hunter that has a big role within the Dr. Aphra comic book series. His first appearance was in Darth Vader #1, which I think, what year was that? That was 2015. There's a number of different Darth Vader #1s, but the one from 2015, April 2015, is the one to get. And there's a number of printings also for that book. I think there's 4 different printings. There might even be 5 different printings for that book. $150 is what this one sold for. So be on the lookout for that. The Alex Ross cover for Darth Vader #1 is the better cover, and it's just an epic cover. I think it's a 1 in 25. Also, you got to pay a little bit more for that one, but $185 to $200 will get you that cover. It's a much better cover in my opinion. So there's like 4 or 5 different printings of this one. Of this cover, with slightly different shades in the background. And then you got the Alex Ross more epic, I think it's a 1 in 25. I almost bid on this. I came close, but I decided to be good. But that one sold for $185 on 21 bids. So be on the lookout for that. But in terms of data for that one, I don't know if I pulled that one up yet or not. I didn't. Let's do that one right now. Darth Vader #1 from 2015. Let's see what the ratio, yeah, so there's 460 for that one. For the Alex Ross more limited version, there's only 75 of those though. So to me, I think if I'm going to get one of these, I'd probably get this one because there's only 75 of them out there in the census right now. But there's a bunch of these in the first print. There's like 460 something for that one. So I think that's all I really had to cover. I just wanted to show you some ideas as it relates. This is just one I forgot to include in my Book of Boba Fett spec books, but this is one I think I would hold on to anyway. I mean, this is just an awesome timeless cover that whether Black Chrysanthemum does anything or not, who cares? It's just an awesome book to have, in my opinion. So the others though, these other Obi-Wan books that I'm pointing out, Obi-Wan and Anakin, the Age of the Republic, Obi-Wan Kenobi #1, and then this one, Darth Vader #5. Those are very speculative picks, and they may or may not do anything. But some of those others, though, I think are worth having in your collection long term anyway. So anyway, I know it's a lot of data, but I just thought we'd kind of touch on some of the casting news that's out there and some of the books as it relates to that casting news that I still think there's a lot of room to grow in terms of price appreciation. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.